Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today I am diving into the new Crash battle. I will be doing a voiceover for my Crash co-op clear. I was playing Aerith. Now, if you are looking to get carried in this fight, you can either do that by running Aerith or Zack. I will say that probably, or Sephiroth. I think that running the Imperialer is probably the easiest way to get carried. In my run today, which you guys will see in this video, my friend J.M.S was running Sephiroth with his new costume, but he only had a base 5-star version of the weapon, and we also did it with an OB6 Glenn. So basically Glenn using the OB6 version of the Limit Break Draw weapon. However, Glenn also did have the OB6 Slay the Day in order to make up for a little bit of damage. But that being said, our run shows that you don't need these weapons at OB10 in order to make this possible. Now, if you are looking to get cleared here, there are a couple ways that you guys can go about it. Aerith, it is unconfirmed if you can do this with her Comrade wand under OB6. Mine is just barely OB6, and honestly, the fight, if you know it and you have the mechanics of it dialed down, it's not too bad. I don't think that the actual mechanics of this fight are anywhere near as hard as the Galambalor Humus, the most recent Crash right before this one. However, if you are looking to run Aerith, this is how I recommend you building her. So as you can see, mine is sitting at 85k power, 10.8k HP. She's got 109 physical defense, 126 magic defense, and 3.3k healing. Now, I'd say that this is on like the low end of healing. So you are going to want to be pushing for 3.3k healing or higher if you can. Now, in terms for our abilities back here, we have boost HP at level 5, magic defense at 2, healing at 9. So if you can hit that 80 points, it's really going to help. We also have boost lightning resist at level 4. I've got some buff debuff extension at 5, plus the Arcanum right here. So overall, these are kind of the rough stats that you guys are looking for. As for the build, the Commodore Arcanum costume right here, I do recommend Healing Wind, although I saw in a couple videos of other players running Breath of the Earth, even though he does not lower your physical or magic defense, and just the potency of the healing is higher on Healing Wind. So I do recommend running Healing Wind over Breath of the Earth. Now for the weapons right here, Commodore Wand in the main hand, and the Mithril Rod right here, as long as you have it at OB6 and it can hit mid-cast on the first tier, that's all you're going to need. You can raise it up a bit in level if you want to get the extra magic defense and lightning resistance, which works perfectly for this fight. Essentially, you're just trying to get as much specs out of these weapons as possible. Now, as for the materia, because the Commodore Wand has the Ol Cure in the 3rd slot, we are going to put a Cura down here. If you have a 5-star Cura, all the more better. Now, for her other materia slots, we are prioritizing the healing stat as much as possible, guys. Now, we are going to bring one Sigil Break here. Okay, it can be X, circle, or triangle, because the boss is, during his Sigil phase, can be broken with either or of those. And in our fight, you'll see that I had to help out of the 3 Sigil phases. I helped out on the last 2. And then I'm also just bringing a healing stat stick materia right here, which is a Blizzara blow. If you do have a water one, it might help for a little bit of damage end of the fight when everything's really on the wire, but more or less this is going to be how you do it. Now for her sub weapons, I do recommend Centipede. I also recommend Prime Number here for the healing and lightning resist. Okay, and then also the guard stick. So all 3 of these weapons are showcasing a healing R ability, while also getting up the lightning resist right here as well. Now that's going to be the most important thing for running Aerith in this fight. If you're looking for a beta for how to play Aerith in this fight, I will be playing her and voicing over the Crash co-op later on in this video. Now, Aerith, I think, is going to be one of the harder characters to run because a OB6 Commodore Wand is not as easily accessible for as many characters as I think the other option, right? Which would be Zack right here. Now, Zack can function as an Imperialer. I do have Black Whiskers at OB10, but you could do it at OB6. OB6 is definitely required, though. The buff debuff extension is definitely going to help. you would slot him with Leviathan's Tidal Wave. I have mine at level 8. Because in the Crash co-op, you can basically cast 2 Tidal Waves, it's going to be a lot easier and less stringent than the solo where you only get 1 Leviathan summon, right? The secondary weapon, there's a couple different builds you can run. In the solo, some people are going for like a hybrid ice build where you run Defender and then Shiva. But for the co-op, I don't think it's super necessary since you will be running Leviathan in his summon slot. So Twinkling Star for the HP and physical ability potency is really good in his offhand right here. Now, as for his materias, the support materia for this is Triangle Sigil Boost. So of course we have a Triangle Sigil Boost right here. I have a Water Blow right here, and just another physical attack stat stick up right here for Zack. Now, as for his stats, 113k power, 12.3k HP, 3.4k physical attack. It's got 105 physical defense, 106 magic defense. So pretty low because the boss will be hitting physical and magic attacks throughout this fight. Now, looking at his R abilities, we've got HP at 8, physical attack at 6, water potency at 5, lightning resist at 4, 2 points away from 5. So you want to get that lightning resist as high as possible. We also have physical ability potency at 2 and buff debuff extension at level 3. For his sub weapons, you'll see that I spec'd him mostly just for buff debuff extension and survivability. Essentially, Zack is just going to spam Black Whiskers basically this entire fight. You want him imperiling all the time. Essentially, that's his main function and role other than casting Leviathan. So in his first slot, Leviathan Buster, Lightning Resist HP. Second slot, Nameless, which is a fantastic weapon in this fight, boosts HP and Lightning Resistance. And in the third one, the Komodo Wand, if you have it, HP buff debuff extension. If you don't have one of these, just try and slot it. This one I'd say is a must-have for every player that's going in on the co-op because you don't have to kind of wiggle your way around, you know, being stretched thin on weapons if you're going in for the solo. Now, just to let you guys know, this is a solo fight that I am not going to be able to beat. That being said, I am going to show you 2 teams that I put together that I feel like could do it. Now, let's look at the first one here. It is going to be this one right here. This is the most popular one. Zack is interchangeable with Sephiroth depending on what you have. And I'm just going to quickly go over this. Glenn is the supreme hero in this fight, the champion of Blitzrad. However, as you can see, my axe is only OB1. You would need a minimum OB6 in order to be a contender in this fight. And honestly, to make up for the lack of an extra Leviathan, OB10 is highly preferred. In his offhand, you would want the new weapon Slay the Day. I have Ultimatic here. Essentially, Aerith is built exactly as she was before, and Zack is built exactly as he was there. However, if you take a look at the sub-weapons here, you'll see that they're spec'd a little bit differently just because I don't have as much leeway in changing out the weapons between the characters. So this is going to be the first team, probably one of the most popular, if not exchanging Zack for Sephiroth for the solo, but you will need considerably stronger gear than I'm showing right here. Another team that is possible is Tifa, Matt, and Red 13. I've also heard of people using Kate Sith because he has the Flower Vase for the haste and the magic attack up on Tifa. He also has a Water Imperil, but you do lose the magic defense up from Red 13 because the prime number is just such a good weapon to have for Matt because of the healing lightning resist here. However, if you did have Kate Sith, you could run Matt on his syringe rapier with the Cura here and then Centipede here as well. That could work so that you get physical defense, magic defense up, which is very, very helpful in this fight. So essentially, guys, these are going to be 2 different teams going into the Crash co-op. That being said, let's jump over to the actual voiceover of the fight, and I'll show you guys how we got it done. Alright guys, so here we are looking at the team that we had going into the Crash co-op fight. As you guys can see here, this is not the strongest looking team. However, it is definitely strong enough to beat it. As you can see, I'm over here playing Aerith with the exact same setup that I just showed you guys. We have Meaties here playing Glenn. He's got the tidal wave at level 10, definitely super helpful if you guys took the time to level that up during the last co-op event. We've got the limit break draw axe here at OB6 and slay the day here at OB6 as well. He's coming in at 193k power, so pretty damn powerful. For his materials, just the sync with the sigil break right here between the axe, and then I'm pretty sure just physical attack up stat 6 as much as possible. Now J-Ro over here is running the new Sephiroth with the buff debuff extension costume and the water arcanum. As you can see, it's only a level 80 I believe Tempest is the name of the sword. Base 5-star, so nothing crazy here. Nameless, however, super important for Sephiroth if you guys can slot it and it's at a high level for the HP and lightning resistance. He also has Leviathan at level 10, and other than that, just speccing the sigils right here to be on par with Tempest as well, and just raising up as much of his physical attack as possible. For Sephiroth, in relation to Zack, Zack is going to be more of just a pure debuffer, but Sephiroth, since he has more of a spec on this for attacking, you can more or less round him out to do more damage throughout the fight. And for us, we definitely needed it since our Glenn was not running the OB10 version of the axe. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to be showing actually their specific builds at the end of this video. So if you guys want to see their builds for what they're running exactly, make sure you guys stick around to the end. That being said, let's get into the fight itself. Alright guys, so before we get into the fight, I just wanted to show you guys the specs on J-Ro and Meaty's build for this. By the way, thank you guys so much, and thank you Jiraiya for my original clear on the Crash co-op. That being said, this is J-Ro's build for Sephiroth, 10.4k HP, 4.5k physical attack. As you guys can see right here, let's go over to his main hand setup. It is the base 5-star version of Tempest, along with OB10 Nameless, level 10 Tidal Wave, along with these materials right here. For his sub-weapons, we have Black Whiskers at OB10, we have the Glenn Axe at OB6, and then the W Cannon right here, I believe that's the W Cannon, at OB8. Now going over to Glenn's build, or Meaty's build for it, let's jump over to his main hand right here. He is sitting at 9.8k HP, 6.6k physical attack. He's got pretty good defenses here at 126 physical defense and 123 magic defense. He's got the OB6 axe right here, OB6 Slay the Day, level 10 Tidal Wave. And if we look at his sub-weapons, basically very similar. We have the Black Whiskers at OB10, we have the Ultimatic at OB10, and lastly, the Nameless at OB10. That being said, let's get into the actual fight itself. Alright guys, here we are coming into the actual Crash fight itself. Essentially, I'm just going to be walking you through what I was doing throughout this fight so that you guys can see for yourself what it is that you need to do. Alright, so at the beginning here, I'm just going to be saving ATB with Aerith. I'm going to wait till Plasma Roller is a little bit more than halfway through to cast Saving Grace, like right here at the end, so that the buffs last through the next phase of this fight, guys. Alright? After that, my next priority is just playing on the stance, getting us healed up, alright? And then after that, we're going to go into Spiritual Harmony here in order to raise the magic defense for the next attack right now. Alright? You want to get it off right about there, 3/4 of the way through that phase, and the attack buff will last all the way through the bomb phase of the fight. Alright, there you go. That takes our magic defense to high. At this point, we're just focusing on healing. Alright? I am happy to say that the lag is definitely better in this Crash than the last one. Alright, here we go. He's going to summon the bombs. This is the one time that we're not going to have the summons to deal with them. So at this point in time, as you can see, since I waited to cast my attack up, it's still lasting into this part of the fight. I'm just going to be healing up everyone to full, while J-Ro and Meaty's take out both of the bombs. You do want to take them out as quickly as possible because the boss will do single target attacks while the bombs are alive, which can make for extra healing, as you guys can see. Alright, so there goes the bomb right there. At this point, he's going to start casting Initiating Acceleration. I'm just going to save my ATB on Saving Grace, wait for it to get over half, cast Saving Grace, get everyone's physical defense, magic defense up, Now we're going into the second part of the phase right here. Essentially, these 3 phases just repeat themselves until the sigil phase happens. All right, so right here, I'm just going to wait in stance, get off the cure. All right, and at this point in time, I'm not going to actually use Spiritual Harmony again. I'm just going to double up on the cure because our magic defense bus is going to last up through Rolling Thunder right here. You guys can see right here. That's why it's good to learn the timing of these abilities before you go into this fight, so that you can wait and cast them at the right time so that they last into the next phase. All right, so here we go. Now he's coming up on summoning those bombs again, but we both have our summons up. So for me, my job is to get everyone healed and get off the attack buff before they use Tidal Wave. All right, so I said wait a second right here. I need to get off Spiritual Harmony. I'm waiting to get my ATB up a little bit more because you can get caught off guard after taking out the bombs by the next initiating acceleration phase. All right, so the attack is up. They are ready to go as soon as that happens. I'm at full ATB, so we're basically set right here. All right, so here comes the first Leviathan Tidal Wave. That is going to completely take out the bombs while we're getting the maximum amount of damage as possible. All right, we were missing the Imperil there, but it is what it is. We are going to survive throughout this fight. Okay. At this point in time, you're basically just cycling between Cura, Saving Grace, and Spiritual Harmony. So I'm just going to double up on the heal right here and then pray that I have enough ATB to get off Saving Grace before his next acceleration phase right here. All right, so everyone is full HP. I'm going to wait until Saving Grace is right about now, cast it, all right? Get it off and get off over onto the defense stance right now. All right, at this point, we're just saving ATB to heal back up. All right, I believe at this point I'm going to just double up on the heal. All right, I should have... Oh, I'm going to use Healing Wind right here. It's okay, you can use the Healing Wind early on in the fight, even though you will need it later on in order to increase the damage of the summons. Alright, so as long as you use it fairly early in the first third of the fight, Healing Wind will recover by the time you need it again. Alright, so that's kind of like your one little saving grace, is that Healing Wind right there. Alright, plus I have a good amount of ATB, so there is a little lag you can see. All right, here we go. There is going to be one more bomb phase before we start to carry over into his heal and then the sigil phase. All right, so here comes the bombs. The attack buff is not up, so I am looking to get that up as soon as possible right here. All right. Also, J-Ro and Meaties have to get their summons back up in order to use it, but they will be able to get them up right here in time. All right, so I am going to drop the attack buff up, and then hopefully I can get to a next heal before the time comes. All right, so they're both going to get it off. Luckily, they initiated the summon phase before we took extra damage right there, which was super helpful. All right, leaves me with high ATB right here coming out of this phase. All in all, pretty solid on the timing right there. All right, there you go. So we are going to go into the next Cura right here. Honestly, the opening phase, I would say that is the opening phase right there. I think that's the hardest part of the fight. Once you get to the sigils, it's definitely a lot easier. All right, here we go. Just healing back up as much as I possibly can. All right, trying to survive these huge attacks that are incoming at the moment. As you can see, we can survive without the physical defense, magic defense up, but it is definitely a little bit tricky. Here comes the boss's emergency repair phase, initiating the sigils to come. All right, so there's Overheat. The boss is going to break down. Now is our chance to do major damage to the boss in this fight. All right, for me, I need to get off everyone's attack up as much as possible. On this phase, they don't need help on the breaking the sigils, so I can just focus on healing, right? Raising physical attack, whatever I need to do. So I opt to raise physical attack for the party right here because they're about to break the sigils and they're going to want to be able to do as much damage as possible. Other than that, I'm just going to focus on healing. All right, so right here, there goes the heal. They're going to get the break right there. And since I have extra ATB now, I'm just going to use Saving Grace. And you're just kind of winging it at this point. If you have extra ATB, as long as they have their attack buff up, you can kind of just feel out for what you need to do. I'm going to re-up the duration on their physical attack buff right here. All right. They are casting, but it does look like they are going to go straight into the tidal waves, take down the bombs, which is going to carry us over into the second of 3 sigil phases, guys. All right. I will be helping out Break on the second and third ones. It does come a little bit close right there. All right, so here goes the Saving Grace. I don't even need to do it, so I'm actually just going to go straight into Ruin Res. All right, helping them break it as much as possible. As you guys can see, the physical attack buff is up. I don't really need to do anything. Everyone is fully healed, so we're basically set to go. But as you can see, it does get a little close right here on this one, and I think even closer on the one to follow. All right. Okay, so I am going to wait to use Spiritual Harmony right here. Boom. That's going to get everyone set up for their attacks. All right. And there's going to be one more sigil phase before he basically goes into his last overdrive, which if he does land it, will kill your entire party. All right, so just making sure that everyone is fully healed. We have the physical attack buff up. Here comes the last sigil phase. So I'm going to be helping break this one for sure the entire time. It is a ton of sigils to take down. All right. So here we go, just basically spamming Ruinra at this point. And after this, we're just going to make sure that the physical attacks are up. And we're going to drop both summons. And remember how I said you needed to wait to use Healing Wind? Well, this is going to be the moment because you do get an extra multiplier when using 3 summons or limit breaks at the same time. As you can see, super, super, super close right there on that. I go straight into Spiritual Harmony, and they are going to go right into the tidal waves right here in a second, right after the bombs get summoned. All right, here we go. Okay, I think they're just getting all of their buffs up, ready to go so that we can do the maximum amount of damage as possible. All right, so there's the double tidal wave and the Healing Wind. This is going to really put a chunk out of Blitzrad's HP. Okay, now Glenn is going to be doing the most damage with his tidal wave, but as long as you have a pretty strong Leviathan for the second character, it will still do a solid amount of damage. So 255,000 right there on the main boss. All right, I used the heal. We didn't need it, but at this point, you're in the final DPS check. There's no more reason to heal. If he gets off this next attack, you will die. But as you guys can see here, we have enough of DPS to fully take down the boss and get the win of this crash fight. So like I was saying, guys, this fight isn't super complicated when it comes to the mechanics. It really just is more stringent on the weapons required to beat it. And it's tough because I think not as many players have built Glenn. On top of that fact, the weapon needed is a limited weapon, which makes it even harder. So I think that it's just pretty tricky trying to get everything you need for this fight. But if you guys do want to get carried, I will be announcing a time and place that we will be carrying people in our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, there is a description to join in the link of all my videos. So come join there. I will post an announcement sometime in the next 24 hours regarding at what time we will be doing runs. We do have at least 10 people on the server with Glenn's axe at OB10, so it's not going to be super hard. As long as you can run Aerith or Zack or Sephiroth, which gives us a good amount of options for getting carried, we are going to get you guys through and get you that new icon clear. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if it was helpful today, don't forget to drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.